Hi everybody! Hi Itamar! So this is a brand new High Society videos that we're shooting now in February. It's been a very long time since we shot a High Society video before you left on your travels. 4 months, 5 months, something of the sort. What are you doing? So at the request of I don't know, quite a few patrons, we're going to talk about the Women's March on Washington, January 21st. I was there and some people wanted to hear what it was like for me, and then maybe we can talk about it on a more global scale, also a local scale, what it means, you know, for Israel, whatever, how we see it and stuff.
I was there too.
Really?
On TV, watching on TV.
Great. He's a great activist. You changed the world, Itamar, with your TV watching. So I
went there with one of our patrons, Andy McEwen.
All right, with Andy McEwen. Thanks to Andy McEwen. So I was in New York in January, and I actually timed my stay there to be in the U.S. during the inauguration and the day after, because I said to myself, maybe there'll be a protest in New York, so I'll be able to go there. So after Andy told me that he's going, like, through his work, there were buses and everything was arranged to go to the Women's March.
So the leftist NGO put
paid. I got paid to go there. I wasn't. Maybe he got paid. Andy got paid. Where's my money? No, actually, he paid for. Andy paid for me. So thanks, Andy.
He pays for this as well.
Right.
Thanks, Andy. So
I woke up at 3:30 a.m. in New York.
It was cold.
It was cold.
It was snowing.
Wasn't snowing. Wasn't raining.
It was after the snow.
Right. There was after the snow. So I got there in the middle of the night. It was packed. 4 buses.
How much is from New York to Washington? Like 4
5
hours?
hours.
5 hours?
5 hours. That's pretty far.
Yeah.
And it was actually more because so many buses were there. So when we were just going to go to park the bus, you could see like literally hundreds of buses. We had to park in another lot because that one was full or something. And I was wondering before what the ambience, whatever, would be like.
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere, if people would be angry. I thought to myself, I don't think they'll be angry. I think they'll be happy to be with other like-minded people and a lot of energy.
Yeah. No, when I saw it on TV, I didn't see a lot of angry people.
No anger at all. It was just like, it reminded me actually, it was just like being in a protest in Israel during the 2011 protest, mass protest here. The biggest one was 400 people in one place.
400 people?
400,000 people in one place, which is like 8% of the voting public, because this is a very small country, right?
Yeah.
In Washington, you had 500,000 people. We had 400,000.
In Washington, but around the United States, I heard something like 3 million people or something.
No, more than that.
More?
More,
I heard
more.
something like 3 million people around the States. Around the world, maybe it was more.
No, I think only in LA it was like 750,000 in LA. And then in New York you had like 200,000.
So yeah, thanks Trump. So basically you went to see the Madonna concert in Washington.
Do you think I got to see the Madonna concert in Washington?
You didn't see it? You didn't stay that long? Or
I stayed that long, but because Andy McEwen, our patron, he works for a production company. So they were shooting the march. So when we got there, we just stood in one place in the main street where people were passing through, and we stayed there for like an hour and a half. And people were constantly going, streams of people, never-ending people. So when we got to marching, we couldn't get anywhere because it was jam-packed. Yeah, I think they should have picked like bigger streets. Like when we had the protests here in Tel Aviv, you went through Even Gvirol.
Yeah.
That's like 6 lanes total, both directions. Boom, you can walk. There it was like, some of the streets were like 2 lanes.
Oh.
So I never got to see anything.
But that's good for photo op. The smaller the streets, the bigger the crowds.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Part of the liberal propaganda.
Ah.
Fake news. So how was it? I mean, so the atmosphere there, you say it reminds you of the 2011 demonstration. I was there too.
It was
Uh,
incredible.
it was incredible, yeah, but
No but.
no, I had some buts, but
What kind of buts did you have?
I kind of wanted to be angry. I wanted it to be angry because when we arrived to the big square for the helicopter shot for the tomorrow's newspapers,
It was an incredible shot.
Yeah,
They
it
can
was-
see it now. It was
it was an
incredible.
incredible shot, but the demonstration itself, I felt like it was too bourgeoisie to my taste. I mean, yeah, I knew the political climate and stuff like that.
Right. You
It's
can't
not-
be. If you're angry, they're going to use it against you.
Yeah, I knew.
No, I
that.
get you, but I get
there was
you.
like performances from Eyal Golan, who is a child rapist.
Not really child rapist, but
No,
okay.
he slept with 15-year-olds and whatever.
But he didn't
He
know.
didn't know, yeah. And he was
But
like-
his dad is in jail now for the same thing.
yeah, and Shlomo Artzi, I think, like
No, Shlomo
mainstream-
Artzi was another one. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like mainstream
Right.
artist was like, yeah, this is popular, this is an opportunity for me to sing songs, except of a Dag Nachash.
זה חדש, אז זה לא חדשות, המעגל הזה חייב להישבר. החליפות ידעו מזמן את הזכות לדבר, אינטונציה של מתים, בטון תקיף, ואילו לא יודע שעצמך אתה מכיר.
That gave it like,
Right.
that gave a speech. And
באלף ואחד לקטנים, מקורבים, יועצים, מהפרקות בנאומים. אדון חליפה, אני לא מתפלל לך סתם, אני זה שמשלם את המשכורת של כולם.
And they also have like songs that are very like subversive.
Yeah, they
like
have
the suits.
אין לכם באמת תירוץ, אתם יודעים, החליפות לא שמות רצות, עליהם
נשענת
לשמור.
כנראה רצוף, ויודעים שזו ספירה לאחור הדף.
exactly, they have political songs, and so
Right.
they rally, they put their songs in the context of what was going on.
Right.
But
So in
after
that way, it was
I
different.
had a
right?
really, like during that time, I had like a really good atmosphere, a really good feeling. But after that, I was like, that might
Ken.
not.
Ken, we
work.
wanted for some people to break windows of
Yeah.
like banks or
So
something.
you say it was similar in means of the energy was like polite.
Very polite, but it's a good point that you raise now that I'm thinking of it, because in the US they are the majority, also like voters wise, like the Democrats got more votes.
She won the popular vote.
I don't even think we should call it popular vote, because more people wanted her to
Yeah.
be president. That's it.
Yeah.
The popular vote, it like means as if there's an asterisk, as if
Yeah.
it's no, more people wanted her. But anyways, so they had to work less to get more people to buy in
Yeah.
to the ideas. We had to be very, 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 very careful
Yeah.
not to be seen as left-wingers,
Yeah.
progressives,
Exactly.
socialists.
Exactly. And
Then-
Trump is an easier target. Back then, for sure, even in 2011, Trump is a much easier target than
To hate,
the
right?
coalition Bibi had back then, which
Right.
was a centrist, basically more centrist than it is now.
Right.
Uh,
Right, and we have also the conflict that makes people
Yeah.
automatically be like suspicious
Yeah.
of any protest.
Exactly. The divide lines are much easier to fall into in Israel
Right.
because we have a common enemy with it.
Right. So if you say it's the left wingers, then boom, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to address it.
And what about the demographics? Middle class white people, or more like
Yes.
organic middle class people?
Middle class white women mostly. A lot of men, but actually, I don't know, maybe fewer than I anticipated. Like some people asked me, why are you going to the women's march? Because it's a women's march. And for me, that was like kind of a weird question. Like, because I'm a man, I cannot support my fellow women. And of course, shared interests and shared values, like their interests are my interests.
It's against Trump. Come on. What are you talking?
And it's against, yeah, if it's a
against
protest against Trump, even if it's like the scientists or whatever, no matter what it is, I'm going.
Yeah.
Because numbers do matter.
Yeah.
And you could see how people were happy when they saw so many like-minded people. Okay, so mostly white women, but also a lot of men, and also you could see like black people and Hispanics. And I was waiting. I was telling Andy, I want to see the Free Palestine guy,
okay.
and I saw one like Free Gaza.
Oh, free guy.
And I took a picture. That was the only protest, that was the only sign that I saw that wasn't relevant to the US was about Israel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was sure that I'm sure there were more than just one. Most of the signs were about like reproductive rights and stuff like that, but not necessarily.
Don't grab my pussy.
Yeah, with all kinds, this pussy grabs back and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so
There were speeches there, or you didn't?
I didn't
stay
get to
for
see
the-
any. We stayed, but we just couldn't. We just couldn't reach. Yeah, we had to walk like so much to get there, and it just didn't make sense because of our itinerary and everything would be over. Would have been over. At the same time, of course, there was a march in New York City, and I
in
saw the
Chicago
pictures.
and-
Right, but I was in New York, so I went from New York to Washington, and then I saw that there were like 200,000 people in walking whatever on Fifth Avenue, and that's also amazing because if you're there like a lot in New York, and then in the place where you are, there's a demonstration. It's different than if you're going somewhere else for a demonstration. So I was kind of like, I wish I could have been in New York, but on the other hand, it felt really special afterwards on the way back when we saw that there were so many protests in like across the U.S. and around the world. I was really like emotional, and my eyes kind of like teared up, like I was part of something global, and I was in the center of the world. This one day I was in the most important thing that happened in the world. So that felt kind of special, like something that I can say later, whatever, to my daughter. I also told my daughter about it, whatever. I have a 6-year-old. I really wish that she was there with me, and I love this chant. This is what democracy looks like. And you really felt this is what democracy looks like. It's not just a chant. It felt like it was really uplifting, really uplifting. Everybody was happy. Like the only times that people got mad, there were a couple of religious people with a megaphone saying, "You will go to hell," and reading whatever verses from the Bible, and some women.
Oh no!
You're going to hell, Itamar. Have you ever had an abortion?
No, but I wish I had.
Yeah, fair, right? Not sure many people get that joke though.
So we're in Israel practically fed up with demonstrations. I mean, even
Right.
our side, which is shrinking every year, it's like, yeah, okay, another demonstration. Like, and when we have demonstrations once every 2 months or so, 3 months, it's the same people,
Yeah.
same people,
Yeah.
the same 1,000 people that go to the same place,
Right.
to the Bima
Habib,
Square
yeah, okay.
in Tel Aviv, obviously, and
Yeah, we march along the streets.
yeah, and then they get a headline, maybe a headline,
Right.
2,000 people
Right.
demonstrated against XYZ.
Right.
And for the common people, it's like, yeah, whatever, okay, whatever. Just
Right.
2,000, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same thing here in that is in the U.S. That if you get like right-wing protests, always get less people. Less people. We just had like the biggest thing like for right-wingers, right? Like the evacuation of this illegal settlement. Nobody protested against it. Nobody. But when
Except them.
yeah, but not even that many people. And when we have demonstrations like 1,000, 2,000, that's like the bottom. If you had like, remember like a year ago, there was like this protest in Tel Aviv against like the gas deal. Basically, whatever, like institutional corruption. איך אומרים הון שלטון וזה...
Chronic capital.
Like chronic capitalism stuff. We had like 15,000 people and we walked like on Dizengoff and stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
And my daughter was there. She held a sign. Bibi, you are full, go home. Okay.
Yeah.
And they showed her, they filmed her on the short clip of the protest later because also she's very
Yeah.
beautiful.
But the point is,
She's very beautiful.
the point is, what do you think? What do you how do you see the future? I mean, we're not experts, obviously, to the American society, but how do you see the future of this like energetic feelings that come through the demonstrations and stuff, and later, even a year after, basically just dissolves
The way it did here.
the way it did here.
What do you think first? I have some thoughts.
I think America and Israel are different in that sense because they have more experiences of successful demonstrations that did,
that changed governments.
change government and control the narratives and stuff like that.
Right.
In a time that was even less free speech or more
Right.
conservative than
And
now.
no internet.
And no internet. And the other thing is that I'm more optimistic about that because Trump is not Bibi, and he's not a master manipulator.
He's not.
And a great politician because Bibi, after he called the demonstrations, his cronies called
Right,
it
yeah.
at least, sushi eaters from
Right.
Rothschild,
Nargila smokers.
nargila, hookah smokers, privileged Ashkenazi
Right.
white people
Who
that-
just want to live in the center of Tel Aviv for
exactly.
free. and-
After he did all that, and he realized that it's not
because
just those.
90% of the Israeli population, 90% supported these protests. 90%. You couldn't get 90% of the people agree on anything.
Yeah. So after that, it just form a commission.
Committee.
A committee of led by economists, to address the issues. And
And
he
they
said,
had
here-
recommendations.
They had a recommendation. They said, here, I did something.
Right.
I did something.
And he tweaked something.
Yeah, let's go back, talk about it. Let's go talk about Iran. Let's go back talking about Iran and Hamas. And
And he also did
whatever.
another thing, that he made a deal, a prisoner deal with Hamas, the terrorist organization Hamas, gave them 1,000 prisoners for one Israeli soldier, even though he actually wrote a book, Bibi, about
Not doing that.
how you should never make any deal for prisoners. But he did that, and later people that worked with him said he did that deal because of the demonstrations.
Yeah. So he changed the narrative and stuff like that. I don't see, maybe Steve Bannon, but I don't see Trump even considering that, but aside tweeting about professional demonstrators and
Right.
blah, 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 for the rest of it.
Right.
There won't be a point in which he said, okay, let's throw them a bone and just
Right.
say something.
Right.
Did something.
Because Bibi, he
Maybe
plays the
Pence
long
will-
game.
Maybe Pence will can do something like that, or like a normal Republican can do something like
Right.
that. But not Trump.
Right.
So I think Trump, in a sense, is the left Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran as this
Right.
aggregator of political anxiousness and political
grievances.
and resentment.
Right.
And it's like something that can rally
Right.
the politicians on our side, like in the same sense that this Republican shook hands with Obama, let's primary him. This guy shook hands with Trump, is
Right.
finished. He's finishing our party. He's finishing our party. He's finishing our political
Right.
tribe. And in Israel, we already have this threat of Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, whatever, ISIS in Egypt and whatever,
Right.
that can just control the narrative a day after a big demonstration, just one terror
Right.
attack or whatever. That could happen in the States, but I don't think Trump is
Right.
wise and smart
Right.
enough. And also the population is more progressive than here, much more, in numbers wise, I mean.
Right, right. And like Bibi, he played the long game. He said, okay, I will concede defeat for the goal, the larger goal. But Trump, he can't do that.
No.
So actually, I'm actually very, very optimistic because I think those demonstrations will not stop, and Americans are more optimistic than Israelis. Like this is like in the DNA of the country, of the societies. Like we are not optimistic, right? We're always looking back. Americans are always looking forward, believing that they can make things better. So that also helps. The numbers, as you said, also help. Like the coalition that was there in the protest and in other protests, it's still there, intact. Most people don't like Trump.
Yeah.
They have like in 2 years they have like the midterms, so
They have Bernie Sanders.
they have Bernie Sanders, they have the Young Turks. I guess I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic for them.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic. Also because the DNA stuff is much harder. The DNA, the American DNA, is much bent towards progressive attitudes and optimistic attitudes
Right.
than let's fear of our shadow. Let's be scared of our own
Right.
shadows. And
Right.
I don't know. Like I think I said it before in one of my videos that the American identity is based on citizenship. It's based on a piece of paper you earn, and you don't have to speak English even. You can,
Right.
as long as you have this paper, you're American. Period. And you see when you travel along in America, you see the American flag. And for Israeli mind, at first, I was like, oh, they're so patriotic, and it's like corny, and because in Israel, if you see an Israeli flag, they're not nationalists.
Right.
They're all probably right wingers and whatever.
Right.
But
Because
you
they use the flag like as a weapon to attack
Yeah,
left wingers and
and
Arabs and stuff like
Palestinians,
that. Right.
exactly. But in America is something different. It's like, yeah, don't forget you're part of this. Like you can see a place with 90% there are immigrants from Brazil, Mexico, whatever. There's a huge American flag
Right.
in front of their windows. When they go out to the porch,
Right.
they see this huge American flag. And it's like telling them like you're part of it. Like don't forget you're part of it. Even
Right.
though you're that. This society, these
Right.
stars, whatever, is not built on your nationality and your
Ethnic identity.
ethnic identity. It's built on these stripes, whatever, and like telling you you're American. Don't forget
Right.
you're American.
Right.
And then they really teach their kids after that, the second generationers or whatever. They teach them, yeah, don't forget you're American.
Right.
So
I would feel more comfortable to be patriotic if I were an American than as an Israeli.
yeah. Then
If you're patriotic here, it's like you support. Like people say, you should give Trump a chance because he's our president. Here in Israel, I don't feel that the leader of the other side is your prime minister. No, he's against you,
Yeah, he
and he
hates
pretty much says so.
Yeah.
So that helps. And they have also like free speech, whatever, the First Amendment. That's more ingrained here. It's easier to say the things that Trump is saying against free speech and against demonstrations. Here, Bibi have been saying it for 10 years, 9 years, whatever.
His entire political career has
Right.
been inciting against the elites, which means leftist,
Right.
democratic, liberal.
And our institutions are not nearly as strong as the American institutions. And also, right, and it's easier to convince people that you don't need democracy in Israel than it is to convince Americans.
And I think America.
Freedom!
Yeah, something about the American. I think the if we look at all these things, if you look at the state as like a body, so and all of the institutions are like the immune system that's supposed to prevent something like Trump to happen, something like Bibi even
Right.
to happen. And a while back, you had 8 years of Bush. It was horrible, but like relative to Trump, it was like,
Such a good guy.
Fine, yeah.
Such a good guy. Presidential.
He was horrible, and the immune system of America, its reaction to something like George Bush and Dick Cheney was Obama.
Right.
Uh,
Here it's not that way.
Here, no. Here, I think the immune system is very weak and is under attack, and already I think it's losing.
Yeah,
In the
of
long
course it's
term,
losing.
it's losing. And in America, we have to wait and see. But the feeling is that the immune system is strong enough
Right.
to reject this germ that called Trump, Putin, Erdogan, and authoritarianism.
And you can see that also in the business community. So many large corporations are going against Trump now on the record because it also makes business sense for them to do so. Here, it's the opposite.
Yeah, here's
It's the opposite. So in that way, even though I was happy that I was there and I felt there so at home in the march. I felt like this is me, these are my people. I feel more at home there than I feel in 60% of my own country and my own people.
Yeah.
We think the same, we watch the same things, we are interested in the same things. It's like more comfortable because you already know that you're seeing eye to eye. Here, so many different tribes that are really different. You have to be careful in what you talk about, and you're automatically considered like on notice because you're a left-winger. So I know that people are depressed. Americans, of course, are depressed because of Trump, but they have it so much better than we have it here. So much better.
And
so I felt a little bit
system,
envious.
because it's an immune system, when finally it rejects the outside intruder,
Right.
it becomes stronger.
Right, for the next time.
Yeah, for the next time. So
Right.
that might be even better. Like maybe America needs something like Trump.
Right,
Put
right.
a mirror in front of her.
Right. And to get all these things that most people hate and just associate everything in it with Trump.
And the right.
And and then the Republican Party. And then if somebody says something stupid, you say, are you like Trump? Like you say Hitler, but now you have this Trump here. So I felt optimistic about it. I felt happy about it. And I felt envious
Yeah.
of Americans.
Okay, so thanks for sharing your experiences from the Washington March.
Thank you, Andy McEwen. And thank you guys and gals for supporting us. So stay tuned. Bye, everybody.